you don't qualify because you did this.
Time is money, and while you're waiting, the price of the home you want is going up.
There's a difference between honesty and transparency. Honesty is you answer the question that I asked. Transparency is you give me the information that I need to know, although I didn't ask the question. How you could be sabotaging your opportunity to purchase a home, and you might not even know it. On this episode of Major Money Matters. Welcome to another episode of Major Money Matters. Today, brought my brother back on the channel because we like talking to each other.
I mean, it's a plus, we were kind of, you had things going in this world, and then about a year and 8 months later, mom and dad figured they could do better, and here I am.
And then they realized they were wrong.
It was too late. You cannot put that toothpaste back in the tube.
All right, so today we're going to talk about stuff we're seeing right now, and as we get applications in, and people are starting to catch on. People are starting to understand. Hey, now's the time to buy a house. Great seller concessions and everything going on in the market right now that's really benefiting buyers, and they're coming and putting applications in, and we're starting to get these deer in the headlight looks when we tell people stuff like you don't qualify because you did this. And it could be people are sabotaging their home buying process to take them, a year, 2 years, having to get other people to get loans and refinance things. And we'll get into that a little bit. And we want to go through, I think we got about 6 here. We're going to do 6 things that you could be doing to sabotage your home buying process. Some of them could take longer than others to get over. But the good news is, brother, people are starting to get the message that it's a buyer's market.
It's the information age, and with social media, with all of the information you can get from just periodicals. I don't even know if people even use that word anymore, periodicals, but I mean online newspapers is what we call them. But with all the information you can get, people are just becoming more savvy.
Yeah, it's the information age, and people get the word information travels, a lot faster than it may have traveled in, 1865 for Juneteenth or something like that. It took a year and a half to get the word out.
Yeah.
Now people are getting information at a rapid pace, so it's interesting. So let's go through these, brother.
Yeah.
6 things you could be doing to sabotage your home buying process. The first one I want to cover is co-signing. Okay. Let me tell you something. I get that. By the way, my wife once asked me, when did you know that I was the one? And my answer was, when I co-signed for your Chevrolet Cavalier, I pretty much knew this is it.
We were locked in.
We are locked in. But the problem becomes when people co-sign for people in relationships, and they are not. They're just saying, "Oh, I'm just going to co-sign for my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever." And I had the mindset that I was locked in. People are doing this when they don't have the mindset that they're locked in. They're just helping a friend out. And when you come to underwriting, there are a lot of hurdles it comes to, and people will say like, "Oh, that's not my debt. That's my cousin's debt or my boyfriend's debt. That's not my debt." Guess what, bro? That's your debt.
Yeah.
So, you're seeing this also in your end when people co-sign for people.
Absolutely. And I mean, we'll go to the good book of Proverbs, for life. And I'll refer to it. Proverbs 11.
Stop right there. We're going to highlight the fact that Marion is an ordained Baptist preacher. Okay. So he's going to go to the good book and tell you what the good book says about co-signing.
Thank you. So we'll go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 15. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer. This is biblical. But whoever refuses to shake hands and pledge is safe. Okay. And that must be the King James version. I
That's
should
the
have.
King James Version. New Living Translation. If you co-sign for somebody, likelihood is you're going to suffer.
Yeah.
And we see that when you're purchasing for a mortgage. Now, let's talk about the underwriting side, brother. On the underwriting side, there are some ways where we can offset a co-signed debt from your debt to income ratio. Okay. And I will tell you what those things are. If you have made, or the person who actually owns that account or actually pays the payment, if it's A, paid out of their account that you are not on, okay, paid out of their account. B, they've made 12 payments on time, okay, and they have not missed a payment. Okay. And C, they have to be willing to give us the 12 months of bank statements showing that they made the 12 payments on time.
And as we say in the country, that can be a long road to hoe for some people,
It, it
especially for a transaction that you don't directly benefit from.
exactly. And can you imagine, like, sometimes we've had situations where people co-signed and they haven't talked to this ex-partner in 2 years, and now you're having to call up this ex-partner and say, maybe things didn't end so amicably, and you got to say, hey, I need you to send 12 months of your bank statements to this guy who is trying to qualify me to that doesn't work out. And
Hey, listen. I know I got your best friend and your cousin pregnant, but now I need you in
I
order
really
to
need you. Can
purchase
you
this
help me out?
house.
Can you help me out?
Can you help me? I need I need you.
And then you'll have parents who do this for their children. And listen, I get it. I mean, I got kids, and but you need to understand the impact of that decision in co-signing for someone, because it is not as simple as you saying, "Hey, it's not my debt; that's their debt." Doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're putting a whole lot of your future into somebody's hand again by even them having to pay their bill on time, because that's not even that is in no way on you for that person who you co-signed for. Okay, I'm talking about the paying on time part, because the late payment and the subsequent default of the debt is certainly on you.
Absolutely.
So, the most important thing for you to realize in this whole thing, number one, if you've already co signed for someone in a transaction, make contact with that person, especially if you have plans of purchasing a house in the future. Make contact with that person, know the status of that loan that you co signed for, and possibly, mend some relationships in order for you to get into your new house. So that's going to be important. But also, if you have not co-signed for anyone, do not do it. Do not make it a habit of doing so. Just don't do it all together.
Yeah, you're gonna more times than not, I do not see that work out, well, if somebody's co-signed for somebody else. Number two is something that people subtly do. Sometimes people believe that they have to pay off their debts or pay down their debts in order to, qualify for a loan, or I need to pay this off first before I qualify to buy a house or something like that. And that's not something that you do actively to sabotage. It's a mindset that could be sabotaging.
Absolutely. Now, if you're on a debt-free journey, okay, then that's one thing. But if your purpose is to buy a house, then that debt-free journey may be in opposition of you getting into the house that you want.
Yeah, and you'll see this sometimes. What people don't understand, Marion, is that I mean, I would prefer you have less debt than more debt. Okay, but I've seen sometimes what people will throw. The people will say, "Well, I'm going to spend the next year paying off $30,000-$40,000 worth of debt," when really paying down that debt really doesn't move the needle very much. Plus, if you had that $30,000-$40,000 in assets, people think we look at one singular thing when we're approving somebody for a mortgage. one person could get approved at a 650 FICO score when the other person can't get approved at a 650 FICO score because maybe person A has $50,000 in the bank in reserves and that other person has $3,000 in the bank. So one thing, paying off one thing or one singular thing is not something that really moves the needle, but people like to view their finances in a vacuum.
And I'd also like to add on to that, while you spent that 1 year paying off those debts, the price of the house you want, it went up.
Yeah.
The price went up. And in some cases, that the price of that home could have gone up by $30,000 to $40,000.
With the amount you should have just got into the house in many cases, and that mindset could be sabotaging. Number 3 is something we see, and there's sometimes ways to work around it. People shift from W-2 to 1099, or you shift to self-employment or to commission-based work or something like that, or full-time commission work. That is going to set you back in, I'd say, 75% of cases.
Absolutely. We understand more than anyone the want and the need for freedom and autonomy in your profession and what you do. But okay, if the goal is to own a house and you're already in a W-2 position, then staying in that W-2 position, if you can, would be best in order to secure your home before transitioning into a self-employed or an entrepreneurial model.
And if you want to start a business or something like that, it's okay for you to do, but just start the business, maybe start the business along with the W-2 income, because that W-2 income is going to be what's going to make it easier for you to qualify in the short term. Now, let's say you've been running your business for a year. We do have, self-employed programs. You can do a bank statement loan or something like that, where you've owned your business for a year, and now we're using a bank statement program instead of, normal conventional underwriting guidelines. But those programs are going to require you to have 10% down. If you want to do a lower down payment, 3%, 5%, or even a down payment assistance, and you're combining that with you recently switching to self-employed income, that's not going to work. You're going to be
right, and we won't dig into QM and non-QM loans, but that's basically what you put yourself into. You put yourself into a different category. It's very much so like switching a horse in the middle of the race. It makes things very difficult, and much like that race, you can fall out of escrow or not be able to enter escrow at all.
Yeah. So next one, brother, that I want to cover is when people say, I'm waiting on my score to increase.
What does that even mean? Okay, you have a score, all right. You're waiting on it to increase compared to what? Are you waiting on it to increase compared to something that you saw online, or you went to a retail lender who told you that they could not do something at a particular score, and you have not yet spoken to a mortgage broker who can work with a lower FICO score? Like, let's talk about it. Why are you saying that you're waiting? What is your score? Let's start with that. What is your score? And then let's see what we can do with the score before you talk about waiting, because waiting, time is money. And while you're waiting, the price of the home you want is going up.
Yeah. And the other thing I see what people will say, like, I mean, I like you asked the question, like, compared to what, because people will so often, say, hey, I need my credit score to increase from, 650 to 680 or 700 because I'm going to get a better interest rate if my credit score is at 700 or 720 or something like that. Well, in a static world, yes, but you don't know if rates went up while you were trying to get the credit score to increase. That really doesn't sometimes make sense. The other question I asked is like, what is a good credit score? Good credit. We say, who is good? Who is good among us?
You've gone to the book. Okay.
So, and then some people say, well, I have a good credit score. And I'm like, my credit score is 650. I'm like, well, better than 620. But, I mean, definitely not. I mean, the word good is all relative, in your situation. So that goes back to a mindset situation that people have. Like it's a mindset that sabotages you from actually owning a home right now.
Yeah, if you're upper fives or wherever you are, just give us a call. Let us pull and another thing, let us pull a real verified credit report.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not what you have on your Credit Karma or what have you, because we see a difference in scores from these credit monitoring systems. Okay, because
Yeah.
they monitor a different type of score. All right, let us pull a real credit report for you and see what your real number is, and then we can make a determination on what we'll be able to do.
And last point I'll make on this is like when you talk about a good score, waiting your score to increase, it all depends on what type of loan program you're doing. If you're doing a VA, we've done those down to, oh God. And then, if you're doing an FHA, you're looking at a different credit score. Conventional, you're looking at a different credit score. Non-QM, you're looking at a different credit score. So, these are all things that you should be considered, and likely things you don't even know or recognize unless you're talking to a mortgage broker.
Yeah, in a non-QM situation, we might not be looking at credit score at all.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Next one I want to cover here is something that people do haphazardly, but it sometimes can hurt depending on the loan program. Frequently changing jobs. This one can hurt you, especially if you're trying to do an FHA loan.
Again, I'll go back to switching horses in the middle of the race. It's just not something you want to do, uh, especially when you're planning to purchase a home, and and when you're switching different types of employment. Okay, if you're a nurse and you work for General Hospital and then you work for Regency Medical, you're still a nurse.
Right.
Okay, but if you're a sales rep and then you take a job as a mechanic, then we have a more difficult time telling that story of continuous employment.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's something that people have to, sometimes people are like, well, and sometimes we can write letters of explanation to justify this stuff. Hey, I got a job, I would increase in my pay and everything. But I think your point is very interesting, Marion, when you say, switching from one career field to another, it really could, sabotage your home buying process. Okay. All right. Last one, but certainly not least.
Is not filing your taxes.
Listen, guys, listen. Okay, let's put this in perspective. Okay. This is especially if you're doing a government loan. Okay. A government backed loan. Okay. Or a loan where we're talking QM guidelines, non QM, QM. If you don't know about that, go watch our video on Mortgage 101. You'll get more information on non QM and QM loans. But if you're going with a QM loan, you're saying, I'm not going to report my income to the government, but then I want the government to give me a government backed loan with government guidelines while I don't report my income to the government. That boat ain't going to float. Okay.
No.
So, you have to report your income if you want to do a qualified. Now, if you're a business owner and you have not filed your tax and you come to us and say, hey, I haven't filed my taxes and everything, and I'm a business owner, we can go non-QM all day. Okay. We go bank statement loan all day. But if you want a lower down payment, okay, 3%, 3.5% down, and you haven't filed your taxes, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah. So yeah, get those taxes filed. I mean, that's and then after those taxes are filed, now we have at least something to stand on to analyze in order to tell you about your approved income. Okay, or your income calculation. We can then do that. Without those taxes, we're not able to do so.
Yeah. And your mortgage professional cannot tell you what to put on your taxes. Okay. That is illegal and we will lose our license. So we are not doing it. Okay. Although we like you and you're a great person, but we're not losing our license for you. Okay. So don't ask us what you should file on your taxes and all that stuff. Talk with your CPA. Once you talk with your CPA, get your taxes filed, get them sent to the IRS. We can analyze those things and take a look at it and see how you can qualify for a mortgage. So listen, guys, 6 quick things that you should be aware of that could be sabotaging your home buying process. Bottom line is talk to a mortgage professional up front. If you're about to do something, there's no harm in setting up a 15, 20, 30-minute meeting with me or Marion to say, hey, I'm thinking about this. This is my current situation. How is this going to affect my situation and everything? If I want to buy a house 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road, we're here to help you. We're here to help educate you so you understand what the loan guidelines are actually going to look like.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one last caveat I'd like to add to this is tell the truth. Okay, on that consultation call with us, tell the truth. I don't have a heaven nor hell to put you in because you did not make good financial decisions. Okay, just tell me what you did so that I can advise you properly in terms of achieving the goal of getting a mortgage.
Absolutely. And when you're talking to us, just like when you're talking to your spouse, there's a difference between honesty and transparency. Honesty is you answer the question that I asked. Transparency is you give me the information that I need to know, although I didn't ask the question. If you are transparent with us, then we can help guide you. If you say, well, it's a legalistic thing, and did you go here? No, I didn't go there. But I knew that I was there, and you get all this legalistic stuff. It gets ridiculous. So did you come home at 11 o'clock? Yeah, I came home. And then I left again at midnight. I didn't tell. Yeah, I came home at 11. That's all you say. But just be transparent with us. We are not judgy people. It is what it is. Our objective is to get you into a home.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Hope you guys learned something. Don't sabotage your home buying process. We'll see you next time on the next episode of Major Money Matters. God bless you.